This new model, for me, is only going to help us out in 15 years' time when we're all saying we've not won the league for nearly 40 years. Ridiculous.
They're hoovering up quite a few players right now. They've got Tynan Thompson, who we've talked about previously, got him from Spurs, 4 million plus 4 million in add-ons. Kit Margetson signed from Swansea, compensation deal. He's a Wales international, Wales under 21 international goalkeeper. Signed him yesterday. And then I don't know if you saw this news last week, but David Eze and Karim Kassim from Manchester City's youth academy, two 16-year-olds. United have also got those boys as well. Those two would constitute pure profit if they was to sell them on. The other two, not so much. But have United changed their philosophy in terms of what they're doing in the market right now? Are they building for the future and creating a financial safety net for themselves? Or are they using this new approach to basically line the pockets of the shareholders and the Glazers?
I don't see it as a focus as these kids are going to be in the first team in the next 5, 6 years. I don't think that's what they're thinking. I think they're looking at it as if it's a money-making game. And like you said, the shift has gone to let's focus on the kids to be able to sell for profit. And that's not a big club mentality, is it? That's not something a big club does. A big club goes, let's make sure our first team is challenging for the Champions League and the Premier League first, and then let's try and make a bit of money later on. It's a model. It's a model that we've seen from other Premier League clubs. Brighton, Bournemouth, they stand out, to be fair. And
Chelsea,
that's
you could even throw Chelsea in there right now.
You could throw Chelsea in there, Nathan, but they've still spent 1 billion, haven't they? They've still
Hmm.
spent ridiculous amounts of money on players. I've just seen that they've spent. When you mentioned earlier about United, we're not able to sell players because we haven't got a club like Chelsea buying them. The City have sold what 8 or 9 of their youth products to Chelsea for about 500 million. We haven't got that. We haven't got the lads from over your side of the world coming in offering 100 million for 20 million pound players. United haven't got that at all. So they're having to go a different route of get these kids in, and then when we do sell them, like you say, it's for pure profit or you write it off the books or anything like that. It's frustrating that a club the size of Manchester United is having to do this. I find it ridiculous. That should not be your main focus. Is let's focus on the youth team. We all care about the youth team. It should be a thing, but it should be an afterthought of your first team. Focus on your first team. Go and get players that are going to go in your first team that are going to be superstar players and are going to win you things. And then once you've got that side, then you look at the kids and then you go, right, well, let's get the best kids in now because we've got the best team in the world. We're the biggest club in the world. We're winning things. We can attract these kids. They seem to have got it the wrong way around for me, and we're acting like a small club. I find it really, really frustrating. No doubt these kids are really talented, and I'm glad to see them at the club. I'm not saying anything other than that. I'm saying that shouldn't be your main focus in the transfer window, and it is from Ineos. Do this first.
It's the City influence, though, isn't it? They spent the past decade and a bit hoovering up young talent from all over the academies from around the UK. And then they would sell them on, like your Jadon Sancho's, your Felix Nemecha,
Morgan Rogers.
Morgan Rogers. And the clever thing that they did with all of this was that they put sell-on clauses into all of these contracts because they knew that they weren't going to get first-team football. And like you rightly said before, if you sign Tynan Thompson, is he for the first team or is he to sell him on later? It's probably to sell on later because that's the model that City used. We've got Jason Wilcox in there, that's former City. Omar Barada was, key to all of this. I get what you're saying. Like, I understand what you're saying, but it feels like we're starting from the beginning to be able to do that. Manchester United have had an absolutely atrocious track record of selling youth players. Like, it's been a disaster. Letting them go on frees, like letting them go to teams that, rivals because they're not going to get into the team anymore. What was it? Was it Cameron Borthwick Jackson? No, it wasn't. It was Zeki Friars. Do you remember? He wanted to go to Spurs. United stood in his way, and then he went to somewhere like Royal Antwerp first, and then came back and went to Spurs because United stood in his way. They didn't want to lose money on him to a rival. I mean, his career didn't turn out great, but I feel like United are trying to get their house in order. And as a Manchester United fan, it's really difficult to pass that with the fact that they're not signing any major players to compete in this season. And it just feels like we'll talk about what, you know, the aspirations of this club in or the current squad in the next segment. But right now, I'm finding it difficult to understand or to try and get a positive response from buying youth team players if they're not going to play in the team. If you want someone that's young and exciting, then you go and buy someone like Esteval, you know? You go and buy him. You go and buy Rayan. You go and buy those types of players. If Manchester United hadn't signed Tynan Thompson, would we be sat on this podcast talking about let's go and buy Tynan Thompson? Would he even register with where we are? And again, you have to be careful because these young lads, some of them do listen to stuff like this. Some of them do see the clips and you know, they do feel it. I want every single player that signs for Manchester United to succeed. Every single player that signs for Man United. I'll back them to the hilt. Do Ineos want that? Do Ineos want every player that signs for Manchester United to succeed? Or, as you say, with your little finger and thumb rub there, do they just want the money out of it? And I'm struggling to decide whether or not this is great for our long-term future, or if it's just another way for the Glazers to get some cash in their pocket at the end of each year.
You used the City analogy, didn't you? We're going down the City route and stuff like that. We're 15 years behind it, Nathan. You're literally 15 years behind that. So that's not going to wash. What do we do? Wait another 15 years until we're as successful as City? Well, that's not going to wash for United fans, is it? The thing is, what City were doing at the same time is snapping up all them youngsters for a bit of profit. They were ahead of the game because they were ran properly. They also went and bought De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, David Silva, Aguero. They went and bought superstar players to make sure that their first team was right, so they could attract these kids, so that then the whole club as a brand built together, and then the youth team followed behind it in the same way. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Your first team has to be the priority, and if your first team's winning things, the whole club then moves up with it. You don't bulk up the youth system and then be all right. In 15 years, we're going to have a first team. That's not good enough. No, you can't. We haven't got the patience, or we haven't got the time, because City will then be another 30 years ahead of us because they've just run better and they're investing more and they will pay for proper wages to proper players. That's not where we're at as a club at the minute. And as a United fan, you get more frustrated and more frustrated when they say, "Oh, another kid's coming. Oh, another kid's coming to the youth system." And you're like, "All right, okay. Well, when are we going to sign a striker? When are we going to sign a left winger? When are we going to sign a third midfielder that we need? We need a left back. We need a right back." I keep saying it every week. Well, we brought this lad in to play on the left wing for the under-18s. So good luck to the kid. I hope he flourishes and does well as a footballer. But as most of us know, he probably won't play 5 games for United in the first team. We all know that. So that's what really gets to us, is the fact that don't put him in front of us and go, "Oh, we've signed another. It's another signing." So no. We're not daft enough to think, well, he's going to start for United, because he's not. He's just not. And this is why we're all crying out of, have a proper transfer window. We've done it over and over again. Qualify for the Champions League, and then the owners let us down. And once again, it's happening. This new model, for me, is only going to help us out in 15 years' time, when we're all saying we've not won the league for nearly 40 years. Ridiculous.
I mean, that's a sobering thought, to think that that's how long it would take. I think to give a tiny bit of balance to that, if United can't bring money in through transfers, having been so poorly run by the Glazers in so long, they have to start somewhere, and they have to start with this type of. We've been able to sell players, but I'm having this difficulty. I'm stretching myself like this way and that, because fantastic, great. You have to do this. You have to bring young players in. You have to be able to sell them for a profit. But then at the top of this show, we just talked about potentially letting Harry Mas go for 6 million. So what's the? I don't understand it. If you bring in Tynan Thompson in for 4 million plus 4 million, for example, right? Doesn't work out next season, and you get 10 million for him, you know, or 15 from a lower club, Burnley, something like that.
Yeah.
Then what?
Pennies. It's pennies,
Exactly.
isn't it? You're at the biggest. You're the owners of the biggest club in the world. You're the biggest club in England, and you're penny pinching. I'm sick of hearing. I'm like, we're balancing the books. we're sacking this, we're doing. I couldn't care less. I couldn't. You get us some players in that first team that can win us the league. That's all I care about. That's literally do that. We need to do this. We've sorted everything out with the final. I don't care. You've put us in that much debt, and we're still 15 years behind the champions. It does my winging, Nathan, talking about balancing books. Like all those fans are accountants, and we care about you making 50 million profit. We don't care. We care about winning trophies and being successful and shutting them blue neighbours up and winning something. So that's literally all we care. But Ineos, the Glazers, all they care about, it seems, is lining their own pockets. And then you've got Michael Carrick, the manager, coming out saying, we're happy with this, where we're going. Wilcox is coming out saying, we don't want these superstar players. We want teams that are challenging for trophies. Prove it then. Go and sign some players that can win you trophies, because the players that we're linked with, the players that have come in, they're not going to get us top four. These other clubs are pulling away from us. Chelsea are pulling away from us now in the transfer window. You can just see it happening because they're having a serious go. Look at Real Madrid as an example. They came second last year, and look what they've done in the transfer window. They've just gone, boom. This is our big club acts. They're not going on about lads that they bought for 8 million and put in the youth team, are they? They're going, no, we're buying serious Champions League players because we're going to have a good go next year. That's how a big club acts. They don't care about finances. They're not on about balancing books. They're going, no, we just bought Diamande for 100 million, even though we've got Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. We've gone and got Denzel Dumfries and we're going to stick him right in there. They bought a brand new back four. That's how a proper club acts, not selling one of the best youth lads for 6 million and then replacing with a left winger that might play one game for 8 million. And then buying a centre midfielder we're not sure about. And one lad that you found out we can get him on the cheap. Let's get him in. He's good. Yeah. It's pathetic. Absolute pathetic window so far.